Hi guys, I'm Savannah. Today I'm going to show you how I like to make cake balls. So here I have 2 store-bought sponge cakes. You can use any cake you've got. I just didn't have time to make a cake today, so I just bought these from the store. All you're going to do is crumble them up. I'm waiting any second for my cat to be in frame. So it really depends how many cake balls you want. If you want lots, crumble both cakes up. If you don't, just use one. You could use cupcakes, you could use chocolate cake, you could use literally any cake that you've got. So if you've got cupcakes and they're kind of about to go stale, that's fine, just chuck them in because we're going to be putting some frosting in. So that's kind of going to freshen them up a little bit. Okay, so I've just crumbled up one whole cake. Now, I've got my icing. You could make this yourself, you could use chocolate ganache, it really doesn't matter. So I'm just going to go in with probably 2 big tablespoons for now and mix it through. I'm going to use my hands. Now, I can't really give you a measurement for this, you kind of just have to mix it in and see how much you'll need. If you can put the cake in between your hands and squeeze it a little bit and it kind of comes together to make a ball, then you don't need any more. But if it's still kind of crumbling a little bit, you definitely need more. Just has to hold together nicely. So I've just mixed it really well with my hands. I didn't add any more icing, I just had 2 heaped tablespoons. As you can see, it kind of looks like breadcrumbs. When I push it together, see how it just sticks? Now this might depend on the kind of cake you have, how old it is. Yeah, it really just depends on what liquid you're using to stick it together, what cake. So, okay, now I'm just going to form them into balls. So just grab probably a tablespoon in your hand, roll it. These don't have to be perfect. They're just going in the fridge after this to set. When they're cool, then you can start to mold them into better shapes in your hand. So we're just taking, as you can see, I've rolled out all of my cake balls. One cake with the icing has made about 13 balls here. I've put them on a baking tray with some baking paper. These need to go into the fridge for a minimum of 15 minutes, but preferably 6 hours. So I'm going to put them in my fridge now, and then later I will show you how we make our topping. So for my topping, I'm just using peanut butter chips here. I've gotten them from my local store. I've got some cream and I'm going to make a bit of a ganache. So I will see you when I get back. Okay, these cake balls have been sitting in the fridge for about 6 hours now, so they're nice and hard. You might notice at the bottom of them go a little bit flat, that's just from sitting there. Since they're nice and hard, well, a little bit firm, you can roll them back into better rounds. Okay, so I've put about 3/4 of a cup of heavy whipping cream in the microwave for 1 minute. I've poured them over the top of my peanut butter chips and it's kind of just resting there for a minute or 2 to heat up the chips so that they melt a little bit better. If they're not melting, that's fine, just chuck them in the microwave for, I'd probably say 30 seconds at a time, or you could pop them onto the stove just until they're melted. So mine are going back in the microwave for 30-second lots. So I put this in for an additional 30 seconds. That's all it needed. I gave it a good mix. Everything's well combined. It's nice and thick and it smells absolutely amazing. So now my cake balls are ready to go in. So I just pop them on. Make sure they get covered nicely. And out it comes. Now we kind of need to hold it here for a little bit to get rid of any of the excess. Make sure it's completely covered though. Now if you just give your wrist a tap, it kind of gets the excess off. So once you're happy that most of the excess is off, just straight onto a plate or a serving dish. Then we're going to repeat that with all of them. Okay, so I've completely covered all of them. Now these need to go into the fridge or freezer to set. Now if they're going in the fridge, they probably need to be in there for about half an hour. If they're going into the freezer, probably about 15 minutes. Okay, so this is the finished product. Now since they're still a little bit soft, you can mold them. So obviously when you pull them off the plate, a little bit's going to stick, but you can just roll them between your fingers and make them nice and round. Now for a taste test. How are they?
Really good.
Excellent. Show me the inside. Take another bite. Excellent. See all that cakey goodness.